Hey there, soccer fans. Welcome on to this week's episode here Between the Posts. He's, of course, Matt, and I'm, of course, Jason. We're not going to preview the Premier League this week. We're going to do the last club game of the 2022-2023 calendars. Of course, the Champions League final, Manchester City taking on Inter Milan. Just really looking forward to getting your thoughts on this one, Matt. How's it going, man?
It's going well, Jason. Yeah, it's fun to be on, and yeah, it's kind of a little David versus Goliath matchup. But I mean, Goliath has still never won a Champions League final before, so this is Man City's moment. I mean, they are definitely the better side here, but it's a final, and anything can happen, and it'll be interesting to see if there's any kind of lineup tweaks from Inter. You really, if you're looking to buy on Inter, you got to hope that Lukaku starts. I mean, it's just as simple as that. Like, he'll be more deadly on the counterattack. Dzeko is a little bit too slow. Um, I don't know. I feel like he has to play here, but they've kind of just continued with the same formula. It's been Dzeko for the first 60 minutes. And then I guess, if they were still holding on here, you would like to say, like, okay, then they would get Lukaku for the last 30, maybe overtime. But yeah, can they hold on, Jason?
That's obviously what we'll get to over the course of this preview show. But if you think Inter can hold on, I want to just take them in penalty kicks. Like, if you think somehow they can survive for 90 minutes, then why can't they survive for 30? And then I do like Onana over Ederson. I'm not talking about obviously the kickers, but I will take Onana over Ederson. So if you're fancy and Inter, go for the big ticket and say that they can win this game and penalty kick. So one of the things we'll, of course, get to over the course of this preview show. Matt, I've given out my thoughts, generally speaking, of how I think this will play out tactically. I do think Inter will stick to their two strikers. That's what they've played all season long. That'll be a little bit new for City, right? They're used to just the one striker being played against them with the majority of the guys behind the ball. So how they handle that two strikers being played on the counter, may cause them problems. I don't think it'll be a big deal to them, but they need to adjust to that because it's just going to be a little bit of a newness factor. Otherwise, City dominates possession. Inter is one of the better defensive teams, obviously, in this tournament. What they've done, in Champions League in terms of keeping clean sheets has just been impressive. So they're going to stick to those same sort of tactics. Give us your thoughts on the tactics. Again, I've kind of talked about this game, I think, every day. So most of the viewing audience knows how I think this game will play out. What do you think, how it plays out?
I mean, I think there's just a bunch of like little calls here that still need to be made. Like I mentioned, the Lukaku one. Another interesting one is Skriniar. Who he's getting ready to. He signed a pre-contract agreement with PSG, so he's going to be a PSG player next season. But he's been injured for a while. He's their best defender. He hasn't been playing in any of these. He didn't play in the semifinal. He didn't play in the quarterfinal. That's a big call. I mean, I think that he has to play as well. I mean, that's the kind of guy that you want up against an Erling Haaland.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
More so than like a Darmian. I mean, Darmian to play that, like, I mean, that's a real problem if you
That's
have,
a
I think, if
huge
you
problem.
have starting. So that'll be very interesting to see. Then there's another, Brozovic. He hasn't been starting. But he's their best holding midfielder, and he's played in a World Cup final. He's played in all of these big matches for Croatia, and he's their best holding mid. So I really want to see Inter shake it up and play those three players. If they played Lukaku, Brozovic, and Skriniar, I think that would give them their best opportunity to keep Man City at bay for as long as possible. In terms of the tactics, I mean, it's going to be they 3-4, a 3-4-3 kind of situation, but it's really more of it's like a 5-3-2 is what they're going to play. I mean, they're going to lock it back. They're going to have they're going to try to keep that middle really congested. They're going to let Man City kind of have some width and try to get corners in and crosses into the box. And just
That's
hope
what
that their big fellas can, rise up above an Erling Haaland and get those headers. But yeah, that's kind of where this match lies. Like, can Man City get Haaland involved? That's the key here. They've got to find, give him as many touches as he can.
Right, and they can actually lean on that recent Brighton match if they do want to clog up the middle. Now, Inter doesn't press half as good as what Brighton does, but Brighton's tactics was you can take Grealish and you can take Bernardo. You want that ball on the flanks? Yeah, we don't really give a shit. We're going to clog up the middle. So, and they were obviously successful with that, getting a 1-1 draw in that game. So, I think pushing them to the outsides could be could be really well and could do them. It could really, certainly do them well. Matt, I've been thinking, I've been looking, and I used mostly their lineup in the Coppa Italia final up against Fiorentina. Putting Onana to the side, I couldn't find one Inter player that walks into this City starting 11. Is there a guy for Inter that can walk in and replace a City player in the starting 11 outside of Onana?
I mean, the only one I think would be Skriniar if he was fully fit. Like he might be, you could say he'd be a better defender than like a Kanji,
Akanji or
possibly. But like not really. I mean, like
really?
they're probably about. Yeah, you're right. I mean, nobody's walking into this side. Barella, Barella's got some very he's a good player, but he wouldn't start for City. He would start for like a lot of Liverpool, Arsenal, United, those kind of teams. Nico Barella, he'll be getting chased this summer big time. This could be his last Inter match. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to see, other than a Manchester City kind of comfortable victory.
Mm-hmm.
But Inter, they know how to defend, and I think that they can at least keep it tight for a long time. But there was some interesting stuff that I was looking on FanDuel. I was trying to find, some bigger prices, something fun for the final. And I think that I found a couple here.
Okay.
Where was it? It's almost like it's gone now. It better not be gone now.
I'll go ahead and throw out an angle just quickly while you find that, and then cut me off when you do find it. I like under 9.5 corners. Remember when we were previewing the FA Cup here on my YouTube channel, and I told you under 9.5 corners was going to be a good look. We broke down the stats. We talked about how City wants to keep ball possession, but they're not whipping in the square balls and getting as many corners as it did last season. It was easily justified, and also 9.5 corners hit very easily in that FA Cup finals. I think you can run back that same bet. Inter's obviously not going to create a lot. They're going to do a good job of keeping it in the middle, I believe, like Brighton, or on the edges. I like under 9.5 corners. I think that's an absolutely fantastic play. I wouldn't get drawn into cards on this game just because City doesn't get caught into being a disciplined team, and they don't really get caught up into that. Guardiola keeps them level-headed from that standpoint. So stay off the cards, but boy, I love under 9.5 corners again.
Yeah, I think that when you're looking at the corners and cards market, you could get involved, I think, in a parlay in a sense of, City to win, maybe a corner handicap, and then Inter to win a cards handicap, type of thing. Like I think that Inter clearly will have more cards. I think that City will clearly have more corners.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely something to look towards. Like this was one, it was 24-1 is Man City to win each half, Jack Grealish to score a goal, and Man City to have the most corners in each half. I thought that seemed interesting. I mean, obviously you need Grealish to score, and you could go down the line. The like 20-1 is the same exact thing with De Bruyne to score, or there's like a 20-1 Man City to win each half, Erling Haaland to score a hat trick. This is all on FanDuel. But I don't know. I feel like Grealish, could come alive in the final. He's going to play a lot of minutes. He's going to be clearly the clear-cut starter at the left wing. He hasn't scored in a while, but it is a final and it's kind of one-off. And I could see him, especially if Darmian, is
Mm-hmm.
playing that right center half.
Yeah.
Should be a great opportunity for Grealish to get a couple nice shots off. I don't think it's asking a lot for Man City to win both halves. I don't think it's asking a lot for Man City to win the corner count in each half. So
No.
then it almost just kind of feels like you're getting Grealish at 24-1 to score a goal.
Yeah.
In a sense, I mean, it feels like if you're really in that Man City, that Man City camp, which we both are. I mean, that seems interesting to me. I feel like that's just slightly too big, but he's going to get And he might play the full 90. I mean, who normally comes in when Mahrez checks in? Or like
Well,
who
it'll be
comes out?
Foden will check. Foden will check in for Grealish. I can't imagine Foden not getting a run in at some point.
Yeah.
Um, Foden will come in for Grealish if I had to take a guess. I think
Yeah.
he's going to
But that
come in.
might be late. Like it's generally like he'll probably he'll try to stick with the same 11 I think for as long as possible if they're leading the match. I don't think that he'll get too cute and make too many subs.
Yeah, I'll tell you. It's interesting you brought up Jack Grealish. I would look at Dumfries or Darmian to be carded. You hear that a lot with Guardiola, and why he likes Grealish is because of his ball possession retention, and he just draws a lot of fouls. Which late in the game, if they're holding on to a slim margin lead, he's going to want to get the ball to Jack Grealish's side to do what he does to get the opponent to get a foul. That's going to bleed 40 seconds to a minute. And then, eventually, I think that player is also going to get a yellow card. So if you want to target a player, I'm targeting Dumfries or Darmian, who's going to have to be checked up on Jack Grealish all day. Let's flip it over. You mentioned Jack Grealish as a goal scorer. I was looking at the odds. How can you not be intrigued by Goodowan at over 3-1 across every sports book? 3-1 is the worst price, but you can find 320, you can find 325 out there. Goodowan, would I want Holland at minus 165? It seems like teams are on to him in terms of just how to defend him, and they're not getting him a lot of clean looks. They're having a little hard time getting service also into Holland. Just look at him against the Brighton game a couple of weeks ago. Just struggled getting the ball into him. I would rather take a good to one, who's just absolutely been on a tear. Absolutely has been on a tear. In terms of the two wingers, I would rather take Silva over Grealish. That's why I was going to ask you on your little parlay that you gave out. Could you swap out a player? I kind of like Silva a little bit more than Grealish, but kind of splitting hairs a little bit there. But I do like Silva a little bit more. But if you're going to bet a goal scorer there, Matt, Holland's at minus 165. Other guys are at plus money. Who are we backing to find a goal here?
I agree. I mean, I think yeah, they don't have for whatever reason they don't have Silva on here because I would rather have Silva. I would be looking elsewhere other than Holland. I mean, just because he's not going to get the space,
Mm-hmm.
Holland is so good when he's given freedom and space, and this is just going to be he's going to be a little bit suffocated here. So you're going to look towards the Gundawans, the Silvas, the Grealishes, the De Bruynes. That's where I would be kind of looking. But it's so difficult with this team to pick. I wouldn't pick a goal scorer really in this one. Like that's where, you know, I'm looking at the 24-1 price because it's just so. I think it's so big
Mm-hmm.
um, on someone like Grealish, to score a goal. That's kind of where I see it because I think that City like dominate the corners here.
Dominate.
Like
The only
what
the only
what
one of yours is a sweat is can they win both halves if City or if Inter can hold on for an extended period of time. That's the only
What are you
concern.
getting, Jason, on a corners? What do you have on a corners handicap in this?
All right, let's pull that up. Corners
Yeah,
handicap.
let's corners handicap and a cards handicap. I think that sometimes FanDuel really sucks with those. So let me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here we go. Why is it taking Asian corners? Here we go. It's minus 3.25, so they'd have to have five or more to win all of it, right? At minus 3.25, four, and you like do that win half, lose half thing.
Yeah, I mean that means that if we look around, like we'll be able to find like a three or or just a 3.5.
I'd rather
I
take
think
him in the first.
you have
I'd
to have
take him in the first half minus 1.5. Take him in the first half minus 1.5 on the corners. They're going to dominate.
I like.
Inter's going to struggle to get one corner in the first half.
I think that they're just going to struggle to get a corner. I really do. Like I think that um, I think that you're kind of right you're right in a sense of you like the unders and corners, and I agree with that. And it's because it's almost like I think that City it's going to be so one way dominated. Like in a corners market, you need both teams to contribute. Obviously,
Yeah.
I see this being like a. It could easily be like a six. I think this is like a six corners to one or two corners. I think
Mm-hmm.
this is a bet. I think that the corners market is a bet for City. That will be my first selection. That they win the corners battle. And then what do you have on a cards handicap, Jason?
Yeah, I'm
because I
still.
think that this is the second bet. I think that you bet Inter to have the most cards by a margin.
You would it be obviously it's a three-way line, uh, -1 three-way line, enter plus 128. So just to hit that, they'd
Yeah,
have to have 3 to 1. So they was like they'd need three cards, and City would need
it's
one.
minus 125 basically.
Yeah, it's -1.5. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I like that one too.
I'm kind of liking the enter under 2.5 corners is plus 128. Like it. I can't see them getting many corners in this. Even
And
if
you're right.
City's holding on to a lead, we know their possession isn't. Oh, you go ahead and take the ball and do something with it. Like no, so they're not
Yeah,
even in a if they're up, they're not giving the ball away. I like that. Maybe
yeah.
that's kind of like
And
that.
they don't foul a lot, and they don't really get involved in cards a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
those are my first two angles really of the match. I think that those are very valid. I think that City win the corners market. I think that Inter win the cards market. Um, just based on where this match is going to be played. And then I think a little sprinkle on Grealish at 24 to 1, City to win both halves, City to win both corners in each halves. I can't really make a strong case for Inter yet. Inter need overtime here. They're going to need to. My thing is, Jason, is like if Inter somehow have like a shock goal,
Mm-hmm.
it'll only motivate City that much more, and like City will then just explode on them.
Right. I'd love to hold on to it, enter under corners, and then have them get some early goals somehow. Yeah. I'm seeing plus 140 on FanDuel. I am actually going to go ahead and add that. I am going to go ahead and add that. We've got Brian in the chat. What's up there, Brian? He's asking about a both teams to score, and then he's also asking about an over or an under. I just can't get involved in an over under, Brian. I just don't know when that City first goal is going to come. And that's going to be the decider on whether an over or under is going to hit. I go both teams to score, no. I go both teams to score. No, I can't find Inter. I just look at Man United in that FA Cup. What did I tell you? That shots on target prop, take under 3.5. United cashed it. They had 3 shots on target. You're not getting clean looks on City's goal. I don't see them punishing City on any way. So I like both teams to score. No. Where do you fall on the over under and also on the both teams to score?
I look at both teams to score no, and I look at under.
You like an
And
under. So
that's,
you think Inter can hold on for some amount of
I
significant
do.
amount of time?
I do. I do. I think that they'll be able to hold on for a decent amount here. I think this match will be close for a little while. And then I still think that the match doesn't really change. If City do score, in the first half, like let's say in like the 35th or something. I don't think the
Mm-hmm.
match real the game state it doesn't really change. It won't change Inter's, you know, mo. Like I think that they'll come back out in the second half, run similar things, and then they would try to last 15 minutes really, then go for it, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's just where I see it. It's. I mean, this if City don't do it here, oh my gosh.
Oh, I was gonna talk about that when we were done. Talking about the game, just talking about a city's place in history amongst the greats, and then also if they're unable to pull this off, just the devastation that it would bring to them. Kane's Nation, he thinks there could be a 1-1 draw at the end of regulation. I say Kane's Nation, just take that all the way out. Just take Inter then to win on penalties. If you think they're going to hold on for 90, what's 30 more minutes? It'll be a sweaty 30 minutes, but you've already sweated 90. And then I do think you get the goalkeeping advantage. So that's kind of my take on that, Canes Nation. But uh, obviously, the bet I gave out pre this show was Man City money line over 1.5 goals. You can now get it at -148. I'm locked in at -154. But that's the pre this show, the bet I gave out. I'm logging into DraftKings because I'm betting that -1.5 corners in the first half. I've already bet under 2.5 team total at +140. I'll give out both of these bets as official bets on the show here as well. But I want to go ahead and lock in this first half corners.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah,
Minus
and these
140.
are.
Sign me up.
I hope it's a decent final. I think it can be. I think that Simone Inzaghi is a good manager. I mean, I remember him and he was getting the most out of Lazio many years ago. He's gotten the most out of this Inter team. He's a good manager. I think this one will be interesting, Jason. I they are. Doesn't it feel a little David versus Goliath though?
Oh yeah, I mean, completely. Nobody's expecting Inter to do much. That's could also help them, right? Because they have no pressure. They can play as free as they can. That doesn't mean I think they forego the tactics that I think will win them the game, which is playing defensive and being on the counter. They're not just gonna play some big open game of football because we got nothing to lose here. No, they're gonna try and win a game. So we know how they're gonna get tactically, but they are playing with obviously, you know, ton less pressure. So, yeah. Where's City going to be in history, though? I think a treble winning side, only been done by Manchester United in terms of Premier League teams to go ahead and pull off the treble. They'll be right up there with me because they had to knock off a top foe in the FA Cup of Manchester United. Obviously, Champions League, you can debate the quality of Inter, but they'll still win a hell of a route. Remember, they were in a group where it wasn't this group, the Barcelona, Bayern, Victor Pliz, Inter Milan group. Like, they went through a strong group to get here.
They did, and that's where you kind of look towards Busquets' comments. They beat Barcelona twice. The Spanish champions twice, really comfortably. I mean, and we know that Barcelona wants to play a similar style as to this Man City team. So, I mean, Inter. This is their. You do have to say that this is Inter's best style. I mean, they don't. If you give the ball to Inter
Yeah, they don't
and
like
say,
that.
here, break us down. That is not what Inter likes to do. I mean, this is what Inter likes to do. This is who Inter wants to be. They want to defend. They want to defend deep, and they want to hit you on the counterattack. Barella's a fantastic counterattacking player. He's one of those box-to-box guys for you. If Martinez and Lukaku start and they could have their, flair from a couple years ago, I mean,
They,
they could catch someone like Lukaku could roll, or Stones or even Walker. I mean, it's really. I'll be very interested to see this lineup. I mean, that's the one key here. I think if you have any hope of Inter doing anything,
I,
I think you got to hope that Inzaghi gets the lineup right.
I gotta hope to see Inter if I'm backing Inter because I love Lukaku holding the ball up, Martinez making a run off of him, and then him, playing in a good ball to Martinez, and then he's off to the races. And Lukaku is the one that has great hold up play. So I really need Lukaku if I'm going to back Inter. If I get Dzeko, great, I can win an aerial ball when I bang him down the field, but that's it because then City's going to turn you right back over with Dzeko. He's not going to do much.
Yeah. Exactly. Dzeko doesn't scare Diaz, doesn't scare Kanji, doesn't scare Walker whatsoever. And I don't think Lautaro does either. I think that Lautaro isn't. We saw enough of Lautaro in the World Cup.
Who was going to bring it up first? Okay, you brought it up first. I hate that goddamn guy.
I was plus 200 to bring it up first.
I was plus 200. I was 201. It was coming up. It was coming up. That's all right, though. We hit Alvarez. We can't be mad, but damn it. It could have gone bang bang there, Martinez.
My God. Fuck.
Could have gone bang
It was
bang.
a nice World Cup, but man, that would have been another sweeter victory right there. But he's just not. I mean, Taro, we know he's not very clinical. He's not very clinical. If he gets a good chance in the box, it's not likely that he buries it. It's more.
He's got
I don't know.
fluff
He's
it wide.
He's not to say he's not a good player. He's a good player, but he's not that clinical of a forward. And boy, oh boy, you are going to need to be clinical in this match. They're going to get one or two chances. They have to take them. I think that Inter will have one or two half chances, and they're going to need some magic.
That's it. Yeah, they're not. Yeah. Can you be clinical? That's always a story with them, or in terms of City, right? You're going to get a couple looks. I'll take my chances that you're not going to be able to finish them, and City wins 2-0.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and toss up some bets on the screen. I've locked in a couple. One I already gave out, and then I locked in two more on the show. I agree with you on that corners angle, so I'm going to go ahead and play it. I'll do the team total under, and I'll do the first half minus 1.5 corners. Corners, first half is at DraftKings, team total at FanDuel.
Yep, give me Inter to win the cards battle. I think that they have more than 1.5 cards over City. And then the corners battle, I think, -4 or -3.5, -4.5. Um, I like that. I like those angles a lot, and I'll be betting those. Where should I be shopping at? Probably like
If you want to copy the
not.
corners, I did the price shopping while we were talking. DraftKings,
Yeah, not
FanDuel, Bet Rivers, and BetMGM. Best price on that first half was at DraftKings, and the team total was at FanDuel.
okay. Okay.
So
Yeah, I like those, and then I might sprinkle like a small stake on the Grealish thing.
yeah, 24
You
to
could also,
one.
you could also if you, Holland hat trick. I don't think so,
I don't even want a
but
piece of
I
that.
mean,
This is classic. We're not going down with Holland burning us. Like somebody else can, but not you. I
yeah.
doubt he even scores unless they get a PK because he's on PK duty. If he doesn't draw a PK, I doubt he scores. We've just seen it lately coming down the stretch with good teams defending him, not slappy teams. Your Brightons, where he couldn't get service he couldn't get service into his feet.
Hmm.
Yeah, good teams are
Yeah.
shutting him down coming down the stretch. So yeah, no nothing for me. Give me a 3-1 on Good to One. Give me a plus 420 on Bernardo Silva. You can get Kevin De Bruyne's plus 280. Yeah, I want a couple of those guys for sure. All right, that's how we're going to go ahead and roll it, fellas. Make sure you come on back next season on Between the Posts. We'll be right back at it again, breaking down the Premier League. And if things go my way, I'll kick off this first show in a Man City jersey. Yeah, why? Hey, you'll find out a little bit later, but you guys know half of the reason why. We need the other part to go ahead and come through. All right, Matt, had a fantastic time all season long sitting here with you, previewing every week of the Premier League, and obviously ending this show and ending the season here with the Premier League. So thank you, Matt. Thank you so much for all your great knowledge.
No, thank you, Jason. Thanks for having me on. It's been a pleasure, and it's always fun to hop on with you and just shoot the shit and talk some Premier League for sure.
All right, guys. Thank you as well. I wouldn't be here without you guys, so thank you. Enjoy this Champions League final, and we'll catch up with you guys later. Have a good one, fellas.